I notice I am doing an upset. I am not clear-minded when I am doing an upset.
Huh? Kaboom!
Okay, so I found this, and you guys know how I like to spread the positivity. There's you know, always some sort of drama going on, always some sort of negative thing to keep up with, you could say. You know, I found this video and I thought it would be very good, very good. So, this one is called How to Never Get Angry or Bothered by Anyone, okay? Life lessons. It's from a Jamie Social, so let's hear it.
You know that feeling when someone says something that ruins your entire day? What if I told you that feeling only lasts 90 seconds unless you keep feeding it?
I never even thought about it this way, but that's so true, right? Yeah, this is why I always struggle if I can't decide if I want to talk about something to someone, like vent, or if I just kind of want to let it go. Cause like I could vent to someone and it might make me feel better, but also it might make me like fester on it for too long. You know, and I could just like move on with my day.
Here's the truth. Anger is a choice.
True.
Neurologically, the stress chemicals that create anger naturally flush from your system in exactly 90 seconds. But we keep the anger alive by replaying the story, rehearsing our comeback. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off when you burn toast, but instead of opening a window, you keep making more toast.
I never even thought about it this way. Doesn't it make so much sense? I wanted to share this with you guys because I had never really thought about it, but I think it's like a really important thing to think about. Because sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I wasn't upset by something. But I had never thought about like, oh, well, maybe it's because I vented to a friend, or maybe it's because I kept like thinking of my comeback or thinking of what I could or should do afterwards. That like I keep replaying it in my mind in some capacity, and that's what's making it worse. And really, it doesn't have to be that way. It only lasts 90 seconds if you don't do that, which is actually a good thing.
Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, notice what happens. Your body floods with stress hormones. That's the
Yep.
90 seconds. But then you start the story. What an idiot. And suddenly, you're still angry 20 minutes later.
I think this is such a good example too, right? It's like the feeling of like the shock or not knowing something's gonna happen. That's like the first 90 seconds, like being in the moment. And then the aftermath of thinking about it. That's when you get mad.
When you understand this 90-second rule, you realize you have a choice point. You can let the chemicals flush naturally, or you can feed the fire. Everyone knows someone who stays calm no matter what happens. They're not superhuman. They
Nope.
just know something you're about to learn. Chapter 1.
And by the way, I think it's really important he says it like that because nobody is saying that the first 90 seconds where you get flustered because someone cut you off. I think it's important that it would be inhuman to expect you don't have a reaction to that, like a natural reaction of like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people like assume that they're supposed to like not have reacted in the moment to something that just happened. Like that's the part of emotional control. And it's like, no, no, like that's a normal human response to have a reaction to something like that that you didn't expect to happen.
The button pusher myth. You're not a remote control.
Yes,
They really know how to push my buttons. We say this like we're helpless remote controls. But nobody can push buttons you don't give them.
true.
Here's the button pusher myth, that other people have magical powers over your emotions. But buttons only work when they're connected to something.
True.
Those buttons are actually unhealed wounds or values violations from your past.
Yep.
When someone pushes your buttons, they're showing you exactly where you still need healing.
Yep.
Your coworker makes that sarcastic comment that all
That's also why they call it projecting, by the way. Because you're projecting, the projection is these wires. That's the projection, is this part that's connecting you to whatever they're saying to push that button, by the way.
or values violations from your past. When someone pushes your buttons, they're showing you exactly where you still need healing. Your coworker makes that sarcastic comment that always sets you off. Instead of automatically reacting, pause and ask, what is this really about? Maybe it reminds you of your critical parent.
Yep. So, like, what I will do is I will think, like, why does this make me mad? Like, I'm so mad out of nowhere, but why am I mad? And before I'm just sharing, like, my own personal problem, right? But, like, what I used to do is be like, why can I not, why, like, Before, when I would get upset at something like this, I'd be like, I know I'm not supposed to be upset. Rationally, right now, it makes no sense for me to be upset. And I would like guilt myself. I'd be like, you should just do the not upset. You should just like that button that was pushed, that just shouldn't bother you. Instead of like going backwards and being like, but why does it make me upset? If it makes sense.
Suddenly, the coworker isn't pushing your buttons, they're revealing them. When you stop being a
Yep.
remote control, you become the operator of your own emotional state.
Because the other thing is not every person has bad intentions, right? Some people obviously do. But people will push your buttons on accident if you're not careful because they don't even know that button exists. They're not even trying to upset you, right?
Nobody gets to decide how you feel except you. Consider your biggest trigger person. What they trigger in you has nothing to do with them.
Yep.
Chapter 2. The Secondary Emotion Revelation. What anger is really hiding. Here's something that will blow your mind. What you call anger isn't actually anger. Anger is the emotional equivalent of a security guard. It shows up to protect feelings like hurt, fear, or shame.
Yeah. I was actually gonna say, there was a quote that I heard when I was really little, and I always, I guess it like always stuck with me, but I don't even know where it came from. But it's fear is not hunger. Fear is anger turned inside out. Fear is anger turned inside out. Like if you think of other examples, right? You can't hate someone unless you love them enough to hate them, right? You can't feel nothing about someone you hate. And your brain is just trying to protect you. It
No.
is nothing more than a caveman, really. It's just the unga bunga brain, like this has hurt us before, so we're gonna want to protect ourselves when we notice this happens. It's just, our instincts are just trying to protect us. They're not very rational. They're just working off instinct.
When someone criticizes you and you get angry, you're not really angry. You're hurt that they
Yep.
don't see your value.
Yep.
Anger feels safer than vulnerability.
Yep. That's the other thing is usually you're trying to protect yourself because if you said your feelings were hurt, then somebody would have an easier time, that would not be a good idea, right? So that's why you react with anger.
So it
You don't want
volunteers to
critical
be the
damage.
spokesperson. Your partner forgets your anniversary, and you explode in anger. But underneath that anger is hurt. Do I not matter to you? When you address the hurt instead of expressing the anger, a real shift happens. I felt forgotten gets a very different response than, you never remember anything.
Yep. Even though it takes a bigger person to take a step back and, be vulnerable and put that in front of the person, it feels a lot more heartfelt than if you're attacking them, obviously, right? And this goes with anybody. It goes with friends, it goes with family.
When you learn to identify the emotion underneath anger, you can address the real issue.
That's why I said, like, I always ask myself, why am I upset? Like, why does this upset me? Because I used to, and I still do this sometimes, where I want to just be like, well, this shouldn't bother me. Like, before I think about, like, why am I upset by this? I think I shouldn't be upset by this, and I should stop being unreasonable. I should shut up and toughen up, and this should not bother me. I know that it's stupid to be bothered by this.
Vulnerability heals. Anger just creates more distance. Reflect on your last big anger episode. What was the vulnerable emotion hiding underneath? Chapter 3. The Choice Point Discovery. Your superpower between trigger and response. Between every trigger and your response, there's a space. In that space lies your freedom.
Yep.
Most people don't even know this space exists. Viktor Frankl discovered this in a Nazi concentration camp. No matter what
Dang.
happens to you, you always have the freedom to choose your response.
That is crazy that is where we discovered this. Holy crap.
That trigger hits, your body floods with chemicals, but before you react, there's a microsecond of choice.
Yep.
When you learn to find that choice point, you become the author of your own experience. Someone sends you a passive-aggressive email. Your first impulse is to fire back immediately.
Yep.
But in that moment before you hit send, ask yourself, what response would I be proud of tomorrow?
Yep.
That-
A lot of times if I'm upset by like a post on Twitter, let's say, I will write out something that I want to say in the moment, and then I'll put it in my drafts. And I will wait a few hours and come back and see if I still feel like I want to send it. And this is specifically about things that irritate me. Something that's irritating that someone said that I want to say something back. And I will tell you over 90% of the time I come back in 2 hours and I don't think it's worth it every time.
That question activates your choice point. This choice point is your emotional superpower. It's the difference between being a pinball bouncing off circumstances or being the player controlling the game. Think about someone who never seems to get rattled. They've mastered the space between trigger and response. You can too.
Yes.
Chapter
And by the way, it doesn't mean that that person that is like unwavered is somebody who isn't able to feel things, right? Like feeling stressed in the moment or upset in the moment is normal. It's not like you need to be completely like emotionless. It's more so that like when you have the emotions, you want to take a second to choose if you want to act on them or not. And a lot of times, like the decision you would make when you're emotional and in the moment is going to be different than the one you would have like an hour later. And that helps because you're able to like think better when your emotions aren't getting in the way.
4. The observer self technique. Watching your emotions like weather. What if you could watch your emotions like weather patterns instead of being swept away by every storm? Inside you is an observer, a part that can watch your emotions without becoming them. You can notice, anger is arising, heart rate increasing. But you don't become the anger. You observe.
No, but and you also like aren't able, by the way, like I said, it's important to also know, at least for me, like because I had trouble with this. It's not that you're bad for feeling angry. It's okay to feel angry in the moment. It's okay to feel sad sometimes, right? So like let yourself feel that feeling, but realize that you don't have to act on it.
This observer self is always calm, always present. It's the part of you that can think, I'm having the thought that this person is an idiot, instead of, this person is an idiot. Your teenager role.
That's the other thing, right? Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean all of your feelings are facts. And maybe that person is an idiot, but you're feeling upset. You're projecting that feeling, and it is an emotional feeling.
Instead of, this person is an idiot. Your teenager rolls their eyes at you. Instead of immediately getting defensive, activate your observer.
Bro, if anybody rolls their eyes at me, it just like it makes me so mad. It's just like I do not even want to help you then.
I notice irritation rising.
Yep.
Now you're watching the emotion instead of being hijacked by it.
That's my trigger. That's my trigger. Don't you roll your eyes at me, you son of a. I mean, I'm feeling like you might be a son of a.
From this space, you can choose a response that actually helps. The observer self gives you emotional immunity. You can experience any emotion without being controlled by it. Think about a time you stayed calm in chaos. You were using your observer self. Now you can do it intentionally. Chapter 5.
Yeah, in that situation, I would like take a deep breath and be like, you're being, a little bit sassy or, I'm irritating you by giving you advice. I'm good for now. I'm going to go do something else for now.
The reframe revolution.
Not about to help someone who doesn't appreciate it,
Difficult people as emotional trainers. What if difficult people aren't obstacles in your path, but personal trainers for your emotional fitness?
Oh,
This perspective shift will change how you see every challenging person. Every difficult person in your life is showing you exactly where you need to grow.
very true. This is undeniable, even if it is somebody that doesn't have a good intent towards you or does have a good intent towards you. This is true 100% of the time.
That critical boss, they're training your resilience muscle.
Yep.
That passive-aggressive neighbor, they're developing your boundary-setting skills.
Yep.
Just like a physical trainer puts you through uncomfortable exercises to make you stronger, emotional trainers build your emotional strength. Your micromanaging boss sends their 15th email today. Instead of thinking, they don't trust me, try, they're helping me practice staying calm under pressure.
Yep.
Suddenly, this isn't personal persecution, it's emotional strength training.
Yeah, also you got to realize, right? Like, okay, so in this situation, the micromanaging boss is doing this to everyone. Every person is getting the same treatment. So you are not unique in being micromanaged. Like there's a lot of situations where like sometimes you'll feel personally about something and it's not. So if you think this person acts like this to every person, then like that helps, right? It helps like make it less personal to you.
It's emotional strength training. You start responding with curiosity. What do you need to feel confident about this project? When difficult people become trainers,
Yeah, that's the other thing is I always like to ask people, like in jobs at least in the past, it's like, okay, what is this person motivated by? Like what do they want? Like why are they sending me this? Is it like a mandatory like they're a boss and they have to check in this many times or they're going to get in trouble from like higher up? You know, or am I not giving them something they want? Cuz I could probably ask what that is, you know? Usually people are motivated by something, especially with jobs, you know? And it's not personal.
stop being a victim and become a student. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to level up emotionally.
Yep.
Examine your most challenging relationship. What strength is that person helping you develop? Learn something new? Hit that like button, share it with others, tap subscribe, and stick around for more.
I really like this video.
Got thoughts? I'd love to hear them in the comments. Chapter 6. The Boundary Blueprint. Protecting your peace without walls.
Oh, boy.
Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out.
True.
They're gates with you as the gatekeeper. Here's how to
Yep.
protect your energy without becoming a fortress.
Yes, because everyone has boundaries. There's standards of like and their ways of telling someone what you like and like what you don't like, right? Everyone has it.
Healthy boundaries are like the skin on your body. They let good things in and keep
Yep.
harmful things out. You just need to be clear about what you will and won't accept.
Yep.
I understand you're frustrated, but I don't respond well to yelling. Can we talk when you're calmer?
Yep. I had a rule in my house when I was younger where if we started yelling or swearing, no matter who it was, if it was my mom or my dad even and like not even like me or my brother, uh we had like a household agreement that we could come back later. Like we could say like, "Okay, I'm a little bit like unable to think straight. I'm going to go like relax for a minute and we'll talk about this like when it's calmer."
This isn't aggressive. It's assertive. Your friend constantly complains, but never wants solutions. Instead of getting frustrated, set a boundary. I care about you.
This was my dad and me. I would just want to complain, and then whenever my dad would give me a solution, I'd be like, "But that doesn't work, Dad. But that doesn't work." Because I secretly, when I was younger, just kind of wanted to complain a lot and just have somebody listen to me, but I didn't realize it. So I was just whining and complaining, and my dad was so frustrated every time I blew off a solution, and I had no idea I was making him mad.
But I can only listen to this problem for 5 minutes, unless you want to brainstorm solutions. You're protecting your emotional energy
I don't want solutions, Fana. I would like to be mad.
while still being supportive.
And by the way, I say this to people now too. And like I have the same issue where like I want to fix it. Like if I have a friend who is going through something, I want to help. And I'll try to find a solution for it. And so now I just ask like, do you want somebody to listen to you and give you comfort or do you want somebody to help you fix it?
Boundaries preserve your capacity to actually help people instead of burning out from their drama.
Yep.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah. Do you want to talk or vent is a really good question for anyone because then you can know you're helping in the way that they need it.
Identify someone who drains your energy. What boundary would protect your peace with them?
Yep.
Chapter 7. The Timeout Protocol. Strategic Retreat versus Running Away. There's a difference between strategic retreat and running away. One makes you stronger, the other makes you weaker.
Yep.
Here's how to know what you're doing. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is temporarily remove yourself from a triggering situation.
Yep, that's what I said, right? Like I take a second before I do something or I walk away. Like with the Twitter thing I said, right? I walk away for a few hours and then decide if I want to send it or not. And usually I don't.
This isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You're giving your nervous system time to reset and your prefrontal cortex time to come back online.
Yep.
I need to take a break from this conversation. Let's continue when I can respond thoughtfully.
Yep, I can't do the thinking because I'm in orc right now and I'm very mad. And when I'm very mad, I just want to punch, and I do not do the thinking very goodly. My ooga booga brain has relaxed.
instead of reactively. You're not abandoning the situation. You're approaching it more skillfully.
Yes.
Your spouse brings up a sensitive topic right when you're stressed from work. Instead of snapping or shutting down, say, "This conversation is important to me, but I'm not in the right headspace right now. Can we talk about this after dinner?" You're honoring both the topic and your emotional capacity.
Yeah, like sometimes if you have a friend or really anybody who's trying to, like, who needs your help or like wants you to be there for them, but you're also drained from your own stuff, you could be like, I really cared, want to help you, but like I'm really overwhelmed and flustered. Like my day was really hard, and I just came back home, or I just got to relax. So like I need just a little bit of time to relax, and then I can help better.
Timeouts prevent damage that takes
Yep.
weeks to repair.
Yep.
5 minutes of space can save hours of cleanup conversations.
Yep.
We've all said things in the heat of the moment that we
You know what I call it, by the way? I even did it with my parents. I'm like, I'm putting myself in timeout because I know my brain is stinky, brother.
regretted later. Timeouts prevent those moments.
Yep.
Everyone needs breaks sometimes. The mature approach is asking for them instead of just taking them.
May I please leave the situation? But may I please take a moment because my brain is being stupid and I feel overwhelmed. Real
Recall
quick.
a conversation that went badly because you were already overwhelmed.
Yep.
A timeout could have changed everything.
Bro, I am like always like I have anxiety. I have anxiety and ADHD. I have this happen even when I'm in a good mood. It's like, hold on, just give me like a couple seconds. I'm overstimulated.
Chapter 8. The Trigger Map Method. Know your emotional landmines. You wouldn't walk through a minefield blindfolded, so
Yes,
why
that'd be
navigate
dumb.
relationships without knowing your emotional triggers? Here's how to map your landmines. Your triggers aren't
The Kermit with the map turning it was very cute.
random. They follow patterns.
Yep.
People who remind you of your critical parent. Situations that echo past rejections.
Even if the reason is dumb, most emotional outbursts happen for a reason. Most of the emotional, trigger feeling you have is for a reason, even if you think the reason is unreasonable to have.
Words that hit old wounds. When you map these patterns, you stop being surprised by your reactions. Ah, this person's tone reminds me of my ex-boss who never trusted my judgment.
Yeah,
wonder
that
I'm-
would be frustrating. That would be frustrating.
I'm feeling defensive.
Yeah,
No-
I think anybody could understand that. You know what I mean? Like anybody could understand like how any person would be frustrated by that.
Knowledge is power. When you see the landmine,
Yeah,
you can
checks
step
out.
around it instead of stepping on it. Keep a simple trigger journal for 1 week. When you get triggered, note who was involved. What specifically did they do or say? What did it remind you of? You'll start seeing patterns.
Yeah, I would do the simpler version of like, why does this upset me? If I know this is unreasonable to be upset by on its own, why does this upset me?
I always get triggered by authority figures who are impatient. Or, sarcasm always sets me off because my sibling used it to hurt me.
There you go.
When you-
And I think anybody could understand either of those, right? Like that's a completely reasonable thing to be upset by.
Know your triggers, you can prepare for them.
But if you were to react to a whole other person who doesn't know that in a hostile way, that would be unreasonable, right?
Preparation transforms reaction into response. You become proactive instead of reactive.
Yep.
Everyone has emotional triggers. Most people just don't understand them.
Yep.
Understanding
A lot of people don't take the time to figure out like why they're having the emotion, what made them feel that way. You know what I mean? They don't take this extra time. They are pinballs just, going around in the machine.
yours is emotional intelligence in action.
And by the way, I know people be like, "Oh, emotional intelligence isn't important." Yes, it is.
Notice what consistently triggers you. What pattern do you see?
Yeah, exactly. Working under a boss with zero emotional intelligence tells you how important it is real quick. Yeah, because he's a dickhead. Because he doesn't understand what other people are motivated by or what makes them happy or what's making them upset. If you want to be in a leadership position, you need to factor in other people's emotions. Otherwise, you will come off as selfish to everyone around you as well.
That pattern is your roadmap to freedom. Chapter 9. The compassionate distance. Caring without carrying.
Yep.
You can care about someone without carrying their emotions.
Yep. This is the really big one, and this is really hard to do, by the way. Have you ever heard somebody describe themselves as an empath? Like they feel someone else's feelings by hearing about their story? I'm sorry, but this is a bad trait. It means that they are going to be so deeply affected by you sharing something or venting something that they're going to hold your own burdens more closely like they're, their own to bear. They're going to go bald then. They can't be a psychologist. They can't be they'd be bald by the fourth person that walked in.
You can love someone without living their drama.
Yep.
Here's how to find that balance. Compassionate distance means maintaining emotional boundaries while keeping your heart open.
Yes, and here's the problem is usually people do one or the other. It's really hard to have both.
Living their drama. Here's how to find that balance. Compassionate distance means maintaining emotional boundaries while keeping your heart open.
And by the way, guys, stereotypically, not everyone, but stereotypically, women are better at this one, and men are better at this one. And neither of them is good on their own, by the way.
You can witness someone's pain without absorbing it.
Yep.
I see that you're struggling.
Also, you can learn from them without having to go through their situation that made them have to go through pain by listening to them.
And I care about you. How can I support you without taking on your stress? It's like being a lifeguard. You
You can also ask yourself why they're telling you it. Are they confiding in this because they trust you? Because that's very nice. You must matter a lot to them that they would feel comfortable confiding that in you.
throw them a life preserver, but you don't jump in and drown with them. Your friend is going through a bitter divorce and calls you daily to vent. Instead of absorbing their anger and pain, say, I want to support you through this. Let's set aside time twice a week to really talk, and the other days, let's focus on positive activities together.
Yeah, and the other thing you could say, right, is you could say, like, it's hard for me to hear every day about you venting because I care about you. Because the reason that you're upset for them is because you care about them and you don't want them being upset. So if you preface it that way, it also helps them know that the reason you want this isn't because they're like, just a burden. It's because you care about them a lot, which is why it emotionally affects you when they talk about it every day.
You're being
That's more
supportive
thoughtful.
without being consumed. Compassionate distance preserves your ability to actually be helpful long term. Burned out helpers
Yep.
help no one.
And by the way, they would want to know if you were feeling burned out from their own situation. They would probably feel really bad. If they're a good friend, they don't want you to take on their stress.
Everyone knows someone who carries everyone else's problems. That's not sustainable or actually helpful.
No.
Consider someone whose drama tends to consume you.
And also, the person that's sharing stuff with you and venting to you probably doesn't want that to happen.
How could you
they're a
care
good
without
friend.
carrying? Chapter 10. The Story Stopper. Breaking free from mental narratives. You're not experiencing reality. You're experiencing your story about reality.
Yep.
Change the story.
This is what you know from the limited experiences you have with people is this. That does not mean every person fits that narrative, though.
Change your emotional experience. Here's how to become the editor of your inner narrative. Every time someone triggers you, your mind creates a story. They don't respect me. They're trying to control me.
Also, this can happen with insecurity about yourself. Like if your ego is really fragile. Like you don't feel valued by the people in your life.
But these are interpretations, not facts. What if their sharp
Yep.
tone means they're stressed? Not
Yeah, like what if a lot of times people do not realize how they come off to others? And their sharp tone is from actually them projecting their own frustrations, not you being a problem.
that they dislike you. The story
Yeah.
you tell yourself determines your emotional experience. Your boss gives you feedback in a curt email.
And by the way, if you do nothing wrong and people are acting this way to you, like let's say that person does have a sharp tone with you, but you haven't done anything to deserve it, that's probably that person being problematic, right? That's probably a them problem.
Story number 1. They hate my work and want to fire me. Result: anxiety and defensive.
I do this so much. This was me anytime I got in trouble at other jobs. I was like, oh my God.
Story number 2. They're busy and want to help me improve quickly. Result: curiosity and gratitude. Same.
I try to tell myself that if I'm doing everything I possibly can, and if I am not doing anything, like slacking off, like not caring enough about my work, I'm going to assume that they are just busy and don't mean to be impartial. And they just need me to change something. So they're being quick. They're being quick about it because they have other shit in their day. And if somehow it is my fault, then it's a them problem because I did the best I could possibly do.
Email, different story. Completely different emotional experience. When you become conscious of your stories, you stop being a victim of your interpretations. You become the conscious creator of your experience.
Yep.
Reflect on a recent upset. What story did you tell yourself? What other story could you have told? Knowledge without practice is just entertainment.
Yep.
Here's how to turn these insights into your new automatic responses. This is where transformation becomes your new normal. Integration happens through consistent practice, not perfection.
Yeah, you don't get good at this overnight, by the way. If you keep practicing it with interactions with people, though, you'll get better.
Start with one technique and use it for a week. When someone triggers you, remember the 90-second rule.
Yeah. You don't have to have it upset you for the whole day. Is it worth being upset about? Will it help you to vent about it? Or would it be better? Is it just a momentary upset? Like the person who cut you off on the highway, there's probably no amount of talking about it that's going to make that change. It just happened and it sucked. So if that really makes you upset in that scenario, maybe it's better to just move on and not vent about it. And like do something fun, like watch a YouTube video you like or play a game you want if you're on your way home. Like that would probably result in you feeling better than if you continued to talk about it and like relive the upset.
When you feel reactive, find your choice point. Each time you choose a new response, you're rewiring your brain. For the next week, pick just one technique. Maybe the
Yeah, like my biggest one I would recommend is if you post on social media when you're upset, put it in your draft, wait an hour and see if you still feel like responding the same way an hour later. That's like a big one that I feel like might help. That's just my advice.
observer self. Every time you feel triggered, say, I notice emotion arising.
I see the anger is approaching.
That's it. By week 2,
I notice I am doing an upset. I am not clear-minded when I am doing an upset. That's how I would say.
this will start becoming automatic. Small, consistent changes create massive transformations over time.
Yep.
The person who
Being able to be self-aware that you're upset is something a lot of people don't have. So if you're able to do that in the moment and take a step back at all and just say, oh, I'm upset right now. I don't want to just act on that without thinking. You are ahead of so many by being able to do that. That is already so good, by the way. If you could just get to that point, you're doing super good.
never gets bothered by anyone isn't born different.
Nope.
They've just practiced these skills until they became automatic. You can too.
Yep.
Everyone admires people with emotional mastery.
True.
Now you have the roadmap to become one of them. Think about who you'll be when difficult people no longer have power over your peace.
Yes.
That person is waiting for you.
Everybody has the power to have this ability. But I thought this was so well spoken and I really think it's important. So I wanted to show you guys it because when I listened to this, I was like, bro, this is so true. And I hadn't thought of it this way, and I thought it was really, really good. Really, really informative.